And a good evening to Paul Whittle in Australia. Sorry, into Warren Miller in Australia. Paul, for you also, it's a good morning.
Good morning, Jay.
Anyway, I'm pleased to say that this talk today is our 30th talk that the Rail Enthusiast Society has organized. The speaker today is Vikas Singh, who certainly does not need any introduction. Vikas Singh has so many interests that it is difficult to describe what he really does. I'm not talking about his job. I'm talking about all the other things that he does. Therefore, I thought that the best way to describe him is to call him a hobbyist. His hobbies range from philately to railways to books. For example, he has Tintin in something like 125 languages. He has every possible book and manuscript of Ruskin Bond. So even when Ruskin Bond wants something, he asks Vikas Singh. I mean, that is the level of his interest in various issues. So I will not spend much time telling you about him because he is well known in almost all fields. Therefore, Vikas, to you, today he'll be talking on the Kalka Shimla Railway. Over to you, Vikas.
Thank you, sir. A very good morning to all of you. It's a very nice weather here in Delhi, though, you know, pollution is also very manageable now. It's 266 AQI. It's a lovely weather, and I hope you have as much fun with my talk as I had in making them. The title is Kalka Shimla Railway. Just a sec, it has stopped working. So there are two parts to the talk. In the first part, which is today, I'm going to talk about the journey of the Kalka Shimla Railway. And the second part, which we will schedule it in the months to come, we will talk about UNESCO World Heritage Railway. What are the features of this which made it to the listing of a UNESCO World Heritage Railway? Now, my journeys on the Kalka Shimla Railway so far. I first traveled on this line in 2003 during the centenary celebrations of this line. This was the time when KC 520 was, restored and decked up for the steam run. The next time I traveled was 2 years later in 2005. The third was in 2007 when we traveled on the RA10 Shivalik Palace. Now this is a coach that you can book and you can travel on this heritage railway. Fourth was when in 2008 the railway line got the World Heritage listing. Fifth was when we traveled on the rail motor car. We had booked this whole rail motor car one in 2009. Sixth was in 2013 when we traveled. And the last travel was in 2022, last year, when we traveled as a part of the Rail Enthusiast Society's trip. So 7 times I have traveled between 2003 and 2022. And what I'm going to take you through in today's presentation is, the best highlights from this travel over the period of 15, 16 years. Now, first we have to talk about history and development briefly of this line. This is one of the old postcard pictures which shows the Baroque tunnel just when it was inaugurated. Both Shimla, Darjeeling, the hill stations became part of India after the Anglo-Nepalese War, which is also known as the Gorkha War, and it was basically fought between the Gorkhali army of the Kingdom of Nepal and the British forces of the East India Company. This is a painting that depicts the Anglo-Nepalese War. Now, this is a treaty which Nepal has started disputing now. This was a treaty signed in 1816, which is the Sugauli Treaty. And large parts of Nepal, or you can say Nepalese controlled territory, were ceded to the East India Company. As a result of this treaty, Nepal lost Sikkim, Darjeeling, and large tracts of Kumaon, Garhwal, and Western Terai, including Shimla. Now, this is what makes it very interesting, because as a part of this treaty, both Darjeeling and Shimla became part of EIC, but they chose Shimla as a summer capital and not Darjeeling as a summer capital. Now, that's an interesting piece to research into. Why? Because, the capital was still Calcutta. at that point in time. The Mechi River became the new eastern border, and the Mahakali River, the western boundary of the kingdom, which still exists today. Now, this is a painting that depicts the Treaty of Sugauli. Now, after the war, most of the land that was ceded to India was returned to the local chieftains. And Shimla, part of the Shimla was given to the Maharaja of Patiala. The first Britisher to build a proper house in Shimla, because Shimla that time was only Jaku Hill and the temple and a few buildings there in a very, very depleted state, was Charles Pratt Kennedy, who built the Kennedy House in 1822. Soon the stories of a place which had English weather started spreading through the Britishers in the country, and it was a good godsend opportunity for the British, who had always struggled through the summer months of the hot Indian plains. This is an old photograph of the Kennedy Lodge, which was the very first building that was built there. Now, by 1830, you had 30 houses, mostly around the Jaku Hill. And the British soon acquired the surrounding land from the Maharaja of Patiala, and the settlement grew rapidly to over 1141 houses by 1881. In 1844, the foundations of the Christ Church was laid, and the building of the Hindustan-Tibet Road started in 1851. Now, this is the north face of the Jaku Hill, the bank in 1850, the Craigs and the Captain Mayo's house. This is again from an old painting from the British Library. This is how the mall looked in 1880s. This is how the mall looked in 1890s. This is the old picture postcard of the mall in 1882. The initial part, you see a British officer with his dogs. This is the early days of the Hindustan-Tibet Road. This is a view of the Shimla Hills in 1860s. Now, in 1863, the Viceroy, Lord Lawrence, declared Shimla to be the summer capital of the British Raj. The Viceregal Lodge was built in 1888, which was later turned into a Rashtrapati Niwas after independence and is now the Indian Institute of Advanced Studies. This is the Viceregal House in 1880s. Now, with Shimla becoming the summer capital of British India, it meant that twice a year it was necessary to transfer the entire government between Calcutta and Shimla. The Delhi-Ambala Kalka Railway Company was formed in 1889, and then the broad gauge connection started from Delhi via Ambala to Kalka. The construction started in May 1889, and the line was opened in 1891. Though it was owned by DKR, it was worked by the East India Railway Company. Now, this is a Kalka railway station. Now, even though the station was officially opened only in 1891, there are still buildings which were built in 1875. And you can see those markings on some of the railway buildings at Kalka. Now, run by the East Indian Railway Company, the East Indian Railway Mail started between Calcutta and Delhi in 1866. It was extended from Delhi to Kalka in 1891 and renamed Kalka Mail. Now, this was the main mode of journey for the British civil servants when they moved from the summer capital between Shimla and Calcutta. Now, both stations, Howrah as well as Kalka, had internal carriageways running along the platform so that the Viceroy and other high-ranking officers could drive right up to the rail coaches. Now, this carriageway can still be seen today at Howrah, but the one at Kalka, I think, has been dismantled a long time back. Now, the journey further to Shimla was accompanied on horses, mules, ponies, or foot. This is the Kalka broad gauge junction as it exists today. Now, before we start, just a quiz time. I mean, we will give away this book to the first person who answers it correctly. The question for the quiz is, how many bridges are there on the Kalka Shimla Railway? You can write in your comment box. At the end, we will see, and whoever gets it right the first time, we will send this famous Feluda mystery by Satyajit Ray, Incident on the Kalka Mail.
864.
You can, yeah, you
So
can
please,
write it down.
please
there
write
and then
it
we
in your
can see.
comments. Please write it in your
Yeah.
comments.
Now, with the rationalization of the train numbering in 1990s, the Kalka Mail, which lost its 1 up, 2 down numbering and ran as 12311 from Howrah and 12312 from Kalka. Now, in 2021, it was renamed Netaji Express in honor of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, who is believed to have escaped from Gomo to Peshawar on this train from the Gomo railway station. This is the Netaji Express at the Kalka station. Now, the Kalka Shimla Railway is one of the most surveyed lines on Indian railways. More than 7 surveys were done, and they tried all different approaches, including adhesion line, rack and pinion, and then after much deliberation, finally the adhesion line was chosen in preference to a rack system. Now, the construction began on 29 June 1898 by Delhi Ambala Kalka Railway Company, and it was opened on 9th November 1903 by Viceroy Lord Curzon. The chief engineer on the line was Herbert Harrington. The Kalka narrow gauge station. There are some snapshots of the journey on the line. This line was further extended from Shimla to Shimla Goods, which once housed the Bullock Cart Office, on 27th June 1909, making it 96.6 kilometers. The Shimla Extension A cabin and the B cabin were built in September 1997. Now, no train runs beyond the diesel shed, and this cabin is no more in use. These are the 2 extension cabins built in September 1997. Now, since inception, this railway line was managed by Delhi Ambala Railway Company. However, due to high maintenance cost and financial losses, the Secretary of State purchased the line on 1st Jan 1906, and it was now managed as an independent unit from the Northwestern State Railway Office, Lahore, till 1926. NWR itself was formed in January 1886 from the merger of Sindh, Punjab and Delhi Railway, the Indus Valley State Railway, the Punjab Northern State Railway, and the eastern section of the Sindh Sagar Railway, and the southern section of the Sindh Pishan State Railway and the Kandahar State Railway. Now, benches from that era now survive. Some benches can be seen at the Bhalku Baba Rail Museum, while some can be seen at Salogra railway station. So you can still see there are 2 different types in which NWR monogram is there on the benches. After independence, much of the Northwestern State Railway came in the Pakistan territory and became part of the Pakistan Western Railways, while railways in the Indian territory got incorporated into the Eastern Punjab Railway. Now, a bench from the short-lived Eastern Punjab Railway survives at the Baba Bhalku Railway Museum at Shimla. Now, in 1952, when Northern Railway was formed, it was formed with part of the East Indian Railway Company, northwest of Mughalsai, Jodhpur Railway, Bikaner Railway, and the Eastern Punjab Railway. Kalka Shimla Railway now became part of the Northern Railway. Now, you can see benches with the Northern Railway and Kalka Shimla Railway initials at some of the stations on the route, including the Shimla station and the Judgo station. Now, today KSR is managed by Ambala, one of the 5 divisions of the Northern Railway. It serves 5 states of Punjab, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, and the Union Territory of Chandigarh. Now, on this section, there are on this division there are 135 stations. Total 2,201.49 kilometerage, 3,010 bridges, and 102 tunnels, all of which are on the Kalka Shimla section. This is the Ambala division. Now, 2 diesel locos have now been plinth from the Kalka Shimla section at the Chandigarh railway station and the Ambala railway station. Now, outside the Ambala DRM office, you have a YG class MG loco, which is plinth. And outside the Ambala railway station also, you have a YP class loco plinth. Now, the journey on the Kalka Shimla railway, this is today 96.6 kilometer from Kalka, which is 656 meters above the mean sea level, and climbs all the way to Shimla, which is 1076 meters above the mean sea level. Sorry? Now, there are 18 stations between Kalka and Shimla.
Request everyone mute themselves, please.
And the Solan Brewery and the Jabli stations are no more in use. This is the map of the Kalka Shimla railway. The journey starts from the Kalka narrow gauge platform. Now, of all the World Heritage Railways, this is the best maintained station and the best maintained railway line. If you compare it with any other, like including the DHR, you will find a big difference in the way the lines are maintained, the rolling stock is maintained, the timetable services, the options tourists have of traveling. It's perhaps one of the best maintained World Heritage Railway globally. And the first station you reach is Taksal, 6 kilometers from Kalka and situated at a height of 815 meters above the mean sea level. It is the first station. Now, the station is called Taksal because during the times of the Mughal, a mint used to be located here. Now, mint in Hindi is called Taksal. So, Taksal was the name of the first station. Now, the Kalka Shimla railway passes through two states, Haryana and Himachal Pradesh, and there are three districts, Panchkula, Solan, and Shimla. Now, 3.7 kilometers from Kalka and just before the next station of Taksal, the railway line enters the state of Himachal Pradesh. This is the Taksal railway station, and the bottom picture, you see the board where you enter the state of Himachal Pradesh. Koti, 16 kilometers from Kalka and situated at a height of 1106 meters above mean sea level. This is the third railway station. Now, near the station is tunnel number 10, which at 693.79 meters is the second longest tunnel on this section. This is the Koti station. This is the Koti tunnel. The next station you reach 21 kilometers from Kalka is the Jabli, which is the fourth railway station. No regular train now stops here unless there is a crossing, and the station and the buildings close to the station have now been given I think outsourced to the Scouts of India. This is the Jabli railway station, no more in use. 27 kilometers from Kalka, while going uphill, you come across the fifth railway station, which is Sonwara. This is the Sonwara railway station. Near the Sonwara railway station is bridge number 226. This is the longest arch gallery bridge. This is 97.4 meters long. It was built in 1898 and has a height of 19.3 meters. Now, there are 32 arches in 4 stages, and the ends of the bridge are at curves of 20 degrees and 48 degrees. Slightly ahead, while going uphill, you come across bridge number 272. This is the longest girder bridge on the section. This was built by Joseph Westwood and Company in 1898 and has a total length of 28.14 meters. 33 kilometers from Kalka, you reach the 6th railway station, which is Dharampur, Himachal. Now, this station has two retiring rooms, very basic facilities, but are great stay options for rail fans because you can do great rail fanning staying right on the station here. This station has a small turntable as well. This is the Dharampur Himachal railway station. Now, one thing which railways has done during the time of COVID is, in the old days, all the railway stations and the buildings used to be were painted in blue. But in 2020 or 21, for some strange reason, all this blue color is now given away to this very dirty, brown regulation color of Indian Railways. So some buildings still survive in some stations, but most of the stations, they have painted them in this dark brown color now. 39 kilometers from Kalka, the 7th railway station, which is Kumarhatti Dagshai. Now, this station is close to the 1847 established Dagshai cantonment. This is the Kumarhatti Dagshai railway station. The next, or the 8th railway station while going uphill, is Barog, which is at 1535 meters above mean sea level. This is the Barog railway station. Now, just before entering the station, you have the Barog tunnel, which is the tunnel number 33. This is the longest narrow gauge tunnel in the world. Now, we had a lot of discussion on Railway Forum. What Wikipedia and others show as the longest tunnel is actually a meter gauge tunnel in Switzerland. There is no tunnel in the world of a 2 feet 6 inches gauge which is longer than the Barog tunnel. For a long time, this was the second longest tunnel on Indian Railways across the 3 gauges. Now, it was built in 3 years between 1900 to 1903. Now, the entire tunnel is lined with masonry, and there are 75 niches in the tunnel for the gangmen to take refuge when the train passes through. This is the Barog tunnel. Now, Barog has great stay options for rail fans, and this is, the view that you get early morning at the Barog railway station. There are a lot of interesting buildings at Barog. There is a holiday home for railway employees. There is a 220, the scrap store here. The station master's cabin and the station master's office. The office is hardly used nowadays. This is the waiting room, and then this is a waiting hall. Now, the trek to the old Barog tunnel. Now, I've done a lot of research into did Colonel Barog actually exist. Now, if he was, employee of the army, then on his death, he would have been buried at the Dagshai cantonment cemetery. There is no reason why he would have been buried near the Barog tunnel. And on all the 7 trips, I have extensively surveyed the area around. There is no grave. And if you talk to the old timers, nobody has ever seen this grave. So I think it's all a myth of Colonel Barog and him being fined ₹1 and then he committing suicide. The old tunnel is still there. The old tunnel was never used because of wrong alignment. The 2 ends of the tunnel never met. Now, the part of the tunnel which is near from the Barog side is now being used to store water by the army. Now it's pretty well marked. I mean, you can, from the Barog station, you can trek all the way to the old Barog tunnel. They have put markings all across. And this is how the old Barog tunnel looks like. Now, they have started using it to store water. Now, around 15 years back, there was no water and I had gone inside. The other side also is blocked. So it's very difficult to find out the other side from where the tunnel started. my guess is actually the digging was only from this side and they never went to the other side. So a lot of myth is associated with it, whether it's in terms of Colonel Barrow committing suicide on being found wrong alignment, because the other side never opened up. Solan is the 9th railway station. Now, an interesting trivia on the station. Near the station, you will actually find a second tier AC waiting hall. Now, there is no second tier AC actually on the Kalka Shimla railway, but I think at some point somebody would have decided to write there, and it's like that there. This is the Solan railway station. The next station is the Solan Brewery station, which is the 10th railway station. Now, this station is no more in use. It's now been abandoned. In fact, we were in talks with the heritage officer at the Kalka Shimla railway if we can convert it into a nice Kalka Shimla railway museum, because the cabin and all is still in very excellent condition there. This is a Solan Brewery railway station. It's still in pretty good shape, and you can see that this station still is in blue color, blue and white, rather than dark brown and white cream. Salogra, this is the 11th railway station, 53 kilometers. Now, there is a beautiful officers rest house at Salogra, which is a part of the heritage building listed as a part of UNESCO World Heritage listing. This is the Salogra railway station, still retaining its blue color. This is the officers rest house at Salogra. This is a part of the buildings listed under the heritage listing. Next station is Kandaghat, which is at 1439 meters above sea level. Now, this is a Kandaghat railway station. Now, on the last picture on the left, you can see the inspection of the bridges. Now, this is a station from where regular inspection of most of the major bridges is carried out. This is bridge number 493. This is one of the highest arch gallery bridges on the Kalka Shimla railway and has been designated as a heritage structure. On a reverse cover 48 degrees, it is 32 meters long and 16.4 meters high. Built in 1898, it has 15 arches in 13 stages. Next is Kano. Now, just before you enter the station is the famous and the highest arch bridge on the Kalka Shimla railway, the most photographed structure on the Kalka Shimla railway, which is arch bridge number 541. This is the Kano railway station. Now, this is one of the very, very few railway stations on the route which cannot be approached from the road. This is the bridge number 541, popularly known as the Kano Viaduct. This is the highest arch gallery bridge, not only on Kalka Shimla section, but on the Indian Railways. The next station is Kathli Ghat, the 14th railway station, and you now have reached 72 kilometers from Kalka. This is the Kathli Ghat railway station. Next is Shogi, which is the 15th railway station. This is the Shogi railway station. Now you have one of the ZDM 3s, plinth at the Shogi railway station, and a general sitting coach. This coach was built in the early 1980s. Now, this is plinth at the Shogi railway station. The 16th station, Tara Devi, is very close to the famous Tara Devi temple. You have now climbed all the way up 1841 meters. This is the Tara Devi railway station. Next is the Jutog, which is the 17th railway station. It's 1975 meters above the mean sea level. These are some of the snaps from Jutog railway station. Now, this rail car which you see was the one that was specially hired for the Rail Enthusiast Society's trip in December 2022. Next is Summerhill Station, 93 kilometers. Now, this used to be the station where the Viceroy used to detrain, and from here used to go all the way to his residence, the Viceregal Lodge. So this station was very, very important in the good old days. This is a Summerhill railway station. It's one of the bigger railway stations on the route. And then you reach the last station, which is Shimla. It is at 2152 meters, not feet, meters above the mean sea level, and climbs all the way to Shimla. The line ends near the Baba Bhalku Rail Museum. This is the Shimla railway station. This is the end of the line. Now this line extends all the way to the old goods shed. And then now it goes all the way to the Baba Bhalku Rail Museum and then extends beyond, and this is where the line ends. So this is now you have reached end of Shimla, and the picture you see here was when a special run was organized during the UNESCO World Listing for the Kalka Shimla Railway. So that brings me to the end of this presentation. I hope you enjoyed this travel as we traveled all the way from Kalka to Shimla.
Vikas, first question from Apurva here. What is the comparison between Kalka Shimla and Pathankot Joginder Nagar? What are the challenges, differences, gradients, maintenance issues, traffic, etc. Because they're similar, right? 2 feet 6 inches in both cases.
Yeah, see the Joginder Nagar one versus is not so well patronized by the locals.
Yes.
Kalka Shimla Railway is very well patronized not only by the tourists, because Shimla is a major tourist destination, and there are 8 timetabled regular runs. The Joginder section does not have it has only 2 timetabled runs.
Yeah,
that's one, so it's not patronized. People prefer to travel by cars and buses. That's one. Second, in terms of maintenance, the major shed Kalka actually does maintenance for KVR section also.
Yes.
So it's not the rolling stock is not well maintained at KVR. The locos also are not well maintained. I have been there 4 times, and all the 4 times during summer the engine broke down. So when it breaks down, then you have to climb all the way to the road and take a bus or a car. So the maintenance is very, very poor on KVR, and the last section up is very, very steep. It is one of the steepest non-rack railway in the country. But there are no major tourist destinations on the route. And if I'm not wrong, that section has stopped working now. If I'm not wrong,
there's a bridge collapse.
Yeah. So the section is not working now, and I think it must be a huge loss-making venture for Indian Railways now.
I think one major difference between the 2 sections is that the Kalka Shimla section goes uphill from Kalka all the way to Shimla, whereas that section runs along the valley, runs along the Kangra Valley.
Yes.
So you sort of have hills on one side, and you're not going up all the time as in the Kalka Shimla section.
Right.
Except at the very end, when you go towards Joginder Nagar, there are no very steep gradients on that section as there are in Kalka Shimla.
Okay.
I think number of tunnels also, I'm not too sure, but there are hardly any tunnels on that section.
Yes, that's correct.
Whereas the Kalka Shimla is going right through the hill, through the mountains, with a very large number of tunnels, almost, I think, 100 tunnels.
No. But Joginder Nagar was a construction railway, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And this was a purely tourist and for administrative purpose.
Yeah.
Okay. And did Shimla become big because of the railways, or did Shimla exist before the railways?
No. It did not exist before the railways. It was, if you see the old pictures of the British Library, it only had a small temple on the Jako Hill. That was what all Shimla was. It was only after the Gorkhali War, when it was transferred to the Maharaja of Patiala and Kennedy built his first lodge and the British started settling down, that the Shimla actually started growing into a settlement. And then they built the Christ Church and the Mall Road, and then the Hindustan Tibet Road construction started.
Okay.
So before that, there was nothing. So it was basically only after declaring Shimla as the summer capital did the development start. And railways did play a very important role. Yes.
Okay. And the availability is all months. I mean, monsoons.
Yeah. This is the only section that is open, unless, of course, there is a snowfall and then, you know, the lines gets obstructed sometimes, but otherwise it's a all-weather route. The regular timetable runs are there throughout the year.
Okay. One question I had about the Jabli station. You said that it's abandoned, right?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yes.
But you said that it allows crossing. So, how do
No,
there is?
Chabli is not really abandoned.
Yeah.
Only there are no regular halts there.
Okay, it's not a
Except for
passenger.
crossings.
You cannot
The
buy
one
a
that is
ticket.
abandoned is the Solan Brewery station.
Solan
That has
Brewery.
been
Yeah,
abandoned
correct.
completely.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But if you want to see the Solan Brewery station, you should go and see the model made by Ranjeev Dubey in Gurgaon. He has modeled the entire Kalka Shimla railway,
Yes.
every station right down to the last detail.
Yes.
He claims that the number of slats on the roof, actual roof of say a station, and the
Yes.
slats on his model are the same.
Yes, absolutely.
He has made the Kalka Shimla section as it was in 1971.
Okay.
So in his model, you can see Solan Brewery station.
Yes.
Although that station is now totally abandoned because the beer from Solan now moves by truck and not by railway. Earlier, it used to be loaded at Solan Brewery.
Right.
Absolutely.
Another interesting thing is that the line when it was first envisaged was to be built to 2 feet, and it was at the behest of the armed forces that they built a 2 foot 5 inch, 2 foot
2 foot 6
line.
inches. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I had another question about the abandoned tunnel at Barog. If the other end, there was no other end,
Yes.
at what point did they realize that we are building the tunnel at the wrong place?
Yeah, that's because
it's
no document exists actually. I mean, must be, but I could not figure out this. So, it's wrong. A lot of it is myth actually. Whether the alignment was wrong or whether, Barrow committed suicide, he was fined, because the other side is never there. So at some point they would have decided, or realized that the alignment is wrong and they stopped building the tunnel. That's it.
no, which means that they found a better, more efficient alignment for the tracks.
Alignment.
And they
Yes.
said, "Okay, we won't build it here, we'll build a tunnel somewhere else," and they stop the work. That's what it
Correct.
seems.
And also Baba Bhalku himself is a bit of a creation. Because
who's Baba
there is
Bhalku?
no mention of Baba Bhalku. See, whenever British chronicle the railways, they gave lot of time, credit to the local people who have helped them.
Yeah.
Whether it is mapping Tibets or the initial trigonometric survey of the country, there is just no mention of Baba Bhalku. So I think he is more a figment of imagination than anything else.
Okay. Yeah.
Vikas, I have one question.
Yes, sir.
How does this is Shekhar here,
Yes, sir.
how does this railway compare with the Nilgiri's Hill Railway, the one from Coimbatore to?
Sir, two things. One, it's definitely an engineering marvel. Now, let me tell you, nobody could get the number of bridges correctly. The exact number of bridges on this route is 845. When you look at the UNESCO listing, it gives around 905. UNESCO listing. If you look at Northern Railway, it just says more than 800. So the only document that exists is there was an old board at Salogra, because 843 is the last bridge you see just before the Baba Bhalku Museum, and then there are two more. So 845 is the bridges and 102 tunnels. There used to be 103, now 102. So it's actually an engineering marvel. That's one, compared to the Nilgiri one. Second, it is much better maintained, sir. Much better maintained. Whether in terms of track, whether in terms of the buildings, whether in terms of the rolling stock. Third is as a tourist, you have large number of options, and every year, Northern Railway comes up with brilliant ideas. I mean, now you have a Jharoka coach, which is very similar to the Nilgiri coaches. You can actually stand at the back and watch as you move around. Then there is a Shivalik coach. Then there is a Shivalik Deluxe. You can hire the entire rail car. So as a tourist, you have a lot of options. On Nilgiri, you have zero. I mean, there are only 4 seats, the first class, and for that also you have to go. Like when I first went, I went at 3 o'clock at night and stood at the ticket window when it opens in the morning 6 o'clock, so that you can get one of those 4 tickets.
Yes.
And then the steam is only till Kunnur.
Yeah.
After Kunnur, again, it is very bad. I mean, the stations are good. You still have Wellington, you have Lovedale, but it's a diesel run and it's a meter gauge. So this actually is a very beautifully maintained. I mean, they have been experimenting a lot, but you look at the livery of the coaches. Everything is very well maintained, and even there is a run in the late night. So if you want to experience this heritage railway at night, you can travel at night also. And all are very well connected with the main line to Delhi. So Delhi and Calcutta, all these trains on the KSR. So you just come down and then spend 45 minutes at the Kalka station, and then you get a direct connection either to Delhi or to Calcutta. So it's that way. It's very, very well maintained.
But I believe that that rack and pinion mechanism, the only one it is in this Nilgiri section, is it?
That's the only one. Yes.
In fact, for the Nilgiri railway, the main attraction is the rack and pinion arrangement.
Yes. Correct.
Apart from that, the Kalka Shimla railway, I think, is far better. But one major difference between the two is that Nilgiri railway is a meter gauge railway, not narrow gauge.
Right. And then on a similar note, if you like to shed some comparatives with the Darjeeling railway.
No, I think Paul is here, so I would like to reserve my comments. But I must say, compared to KSR, Darjeeling is like a slum.
Yeah.
It's actually a slum today. It's
I
very bad.
I wrote that question, but I didn't ask you. But
it's very bad. Very bad. I mean, see, lot of encroachment, no local interest, no matter what they say. There is just no local interest in saving that railway, and it's a sham today. Actually, the steam run is not there. They run something called it a toy train. I mean, that's obnoxious term to use. It's a railway line. It's not a toy train.
I agree with you.
And all the Z reverses, loops, everything is with the Batasia loop heavily encroached upon. The Chunabatti loop again encroached. So there's huge encroachment. And between in the initial part, it just looks like you are passing through a slum. So, and let me tell, I think there is also a lot of marketing which has gone behind, because even on the tea, see, I am a certified tea sommelier and a tea tester. The tea that you get from Assam is far superior than the tea that you get for Darjeeling. Oh. In the last auction, the highest price commanded by an Indian tea is Manohari Tea Estate in Assam. Now, the total tea that is sold globally under Darjeeling tag is more than 6 times than what is produced in Darjeeling. Most of the tea that is sold does not carry a GI tag. That is a legal requirement. I mean, that's, if I remember, JL sir, you would remember I had said don't promote Dorji tea, because that's not a GI tag. So what has happened is
you're not following the discussion.
Vested interest started promoting Darjeeling tea because you can command a premium, and all this imperial silver needle tea and organic this, that, fair trade practice, all was done by Makai Badi Tea Estate. I mean, I don't want to disparage Makai Badi Tea Estate, but basically Raja Banerjee and his team, they did fantastic marketing before they sold off the entire venture. So as a part of that entire aura, Darjeeling Himalayan Railway also became part of that aura. But if you basically compare both, Kalka Shimla Railway is notch above DHR.
Vikas, tell us about the food on the line.
Which food?
What food do you get? I mean, I know Barog has got a very, it's a place where people come and eat. So what food do you get on the line?
There
Oh.
is nothing very unique, but I must on the Kalka broad gauge section. There are vendors who give you excellent puri sabji.
वो ठीक है. Narrow gauge का
Excellent.
बता. Tell us about the narrow
And
gauge.
on the route near Barog, see the restaurant there serves basic. I mean, they will make whatever you ask them, but nothing very unique. Nothing unique you get on this in terms of foodie, like the way you get on a lot of other railway lines.
Yeah.
You don't get very different foodie experience on this.
Hmm. Yeah,
Food
Raghunandan
is
sir is
not
saying.
something, but what is really beauty is are that the stations buildings are very well maintained. They're beautiful. I mean, because see, I've traveled so many times and I never grow tired. I mean, you can just sit at any of the railway station, unlike on Darjeeling Himalayan Railway. Here on any of the station you sit, and the station master, the railway person are much more friendly than those on the DHR.
Yes.
Then you can trek across the sections because there is a bridge almost every nook and corner. 90% of the section is actually on curve.
Yeah.
And then all the arch gallery bridges. It's a beautiful. The journey is great. I mean, rather than anything else.
Mr. Raghunandan has mentioned that you get lovely greasy omelets at Barog.
Yeah, greasy. Yes, greasy, definitely. Yes, Warren. Yes.
Oh, hello, Vikas. Barog Tunnel. Yes, it's a fascinating story. I recall that there was an article in the Indian Steam Railway Society magazine by Mr. Vikas Singh in 2005. That article suggests that he actually visited the grave and the other end of the tunnel, but I don't know whether this is correct.
Yeah. See, we took this picture with us when we went there. We spoke with PJ and we took the picture. So we went to the site where this is supposed to be because there is now an ashram and it is near that. But what you see here is just a slab. So it's difficult to say whether it's a grave. It's very close to the road. So it's just a slab. We took this picture from PJ when we went there. And the other side is not visible.
In fact, there's an article by PJ Singh which says that he had been to the other side.
Yeah, but there is no other side, sir. I don't know which side because there is no
PJ Singh's
other
article, I think I'll fish it out. He had mentioned that he had been and seen the other side.
Because that other side is not there. I mean, it's not that somebody will cover it up now because I have once gone inside the tunnel when they were not using it to store water and there is no other end. It's just closed. And it's hardly, 200, 250 meters is the only length of the tunnel inside. So there would have been a slab or maybe
mystery.
Sorry. Yeah, Warren. Sorry.
I said it's still a little bit of mystery left.
Yeah.
I would like to mention one interesting fact. There are 3 railway lines going right up into the mountains. The Kalka Shimla Railway, the Darjeeling Railway and the Nilgiri Railway. All 3 have used entirely different methods to go up steep slopes. The Nilgiri Railway used the rack and pinion arrangement. The Darjeeling Railway used the Z crossings, whereas the Kalka Shimla Railway went through the hills through tunnels. I think 3 entirely different methods to go up the slopes.
Right.
And Manoj sir did make an interesting observation. Yes, there is a very nice coffee table book that has been published by the Ambala division. It's a beautiful piece of work which they produced this book. I think it's now into its 2nd edition. It's a lovely piece of book.
Jail sir, for you, especially slightly off topic, but about railways, is the other day I traveled from Mumbai to Delhi on the Rajdhani from VT. So we went through the Thal Ghats, and there is a railway tunnel which is abandoned, which is on the other side of the road. I mean, there are tracks, and then there is the highway, and there is a railway tunnel which is at an angle. So we have done a lot of work on this. I wonder if you know what I'm talking about. Initially, we believe that it is one of the cat sidings. There was no place to make a track uphill, so they put the siding inside a tunnel, and that was abandoned. So one will have to go and actually, investigate what that is. But if you look at the maps on the, I think I'll discuss this off topic with you, but that's one area that I want to be working. One question which I had for you is, because you've worked a lot in the Thalghats, what is the full form of TGR? It is Thalghat receiving station or reversing station? Because during the last meeting about something about Thalghat, when you were driving WDM2, although you were not authorized to, but Jail sir, yeah, Jail sir, can you hear me? Jail sir?
I can hear you.
Yeah. So there was a tunnel in Thalghat. Do you remember that? A tunnel which is not on the railway line, but it is at right angle to the railway line.
See, I last traveled on Thalghat, I think 30, 40 years back.
Right. Okay. Yeah. No, but you gave a different.
In fact, see, what we can check is how many cat sightings do they have now?
They have
Because
3.
I actually worked a train on that section in 1974 during the strike.
Exactly.
And at that time, there were 3 cat sightings.
There are 3 cat sightings. When you worked, there are 3. But it's one of those abandoned tunnel stories that because they couldn't make a cat sighting into the hills, the cat sighting had to go into a tunnel, and it would rise up. I believe that, because there is no history.
I think it'll require investigation.
Yeah, no, I'll share the photo. The other day I was at the door and I knew what I was looking for, and that thing came in. So we will take this offline. You in your talk you said something about TGR. So the 3 reversing stations are called TGR1, TGR2, TGR3. So what is the full form of TGR? Thalghat is TG. Is R is receiving? Is it reversing or something else? Do you know that? Because
anyway, I think it's worth investigating.
Yeah. Okay, I'll take it offline with you. It's
we'll take it offline.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
Now there is a question, I think, from Kaushik. See, they're building a station at Parvanu. It's going to be broad gauge. So that's because Parvanu is the place where a lot of factories are there. It's a tax-free zone.
Yeah.
So everybody from HUL to Ricketts, they all have factories there. So they are building a broad gauge station there. So Kalka is going to be extended all the way till Parvanu. So the goods can come.
So Kalka will become a junction, in the sense that instead of okay, and a track will take off from, and it will be ended at Parvanu Industrial District.
Yeah.
How far is that?
Parvanu would be around, I think, 15 kilometers. 12 to 15
pass mein. Okay.
Pass mein.
Atulya sir, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to share a memory of this Kalka Shimla line. I had gone there with my wife and son around 20 years back.
Oh.
My son was then around 4 or 5 years old. So we had gone by train. We initially stopped at Barog, but there was a rest house room there, but it was in very bad condition. So we were not sure what to do. And with our luggage, we found it impossible to reach the road because it was about maybe 1 kilometer above the station. It was very difficult for us to climb with our luggage. So eventually we took the next train. We went to Solan and we stayed in a hotel for a couple of days and we found it very enjoyable. Why I'm remembering this and why I'm sharing this is that when you looked out from the window of the hotel, you could see the line, and not just one line, you could see the line in more than one location. So at times you could see one, or sometimes you could even see 2 trains at different locations. So that's something which I have not seen anywhere else. So I thought I'd share that. I don't know.
For a narrow gauge section, it's a very busy section.
Yes, it's a very busy section. So not only there are multiple trains running, you can actually see 2 trains at the same time if you are in the right place.
What is the future of this railway? Are we continuing to make it? I hope we are not going the e-way, but Vikas, what is your idea?
No, I think they've just got the Vistadome coaches, which are very nice. Built at ICF. When we were there, they were doing the trial runs on that. Of course, sometimes they keep talking about hydrogen fuel and stuff like that, but this line is very well patronized both by the locals and by the tourists. So and you have got very good divisional managers and the heritage officers there who are really, they have put their heart and soul into this, unlike DHR, where for the DHR, I don't know what you call that, director DHR, for him is more like a punishment posting.
Yes.
They just don't want to stay there. It's not the same with Kalka Shimla. And when you look at the way they have maintained the workshop, see, JL sir and Atulya sir would have seen a lot of, they would have seen a lot of workshops. As ordinary people, we are not allowed access in a lot of these workshops. But whatever I have seen, if you compare the Tindaria workshop with the Kalka workshop, there is just no comparison. So well maintained, and they have all the drawings. They have made all the die cast. Everything is there. So they
I think
have
one thing is that they have
meticulously
posted two youngsters there. One as the heritage officer and one as the in charge of the Kalka railway workshop.
and
They are
both
two
are
very
very well, enthusiastic
young,
guys.
enthusiastic officers.
And they have got a good heritage room. And if you go to their foundry, this is the only place where you have got a ferrous and non-ferrous foundry on Northern Railway. The foundry itself is 20 feet below the ground, and it's a engineering marvel. So everything is very well maintained. You go to the shed, you can see the pride of the people who are working there. The future is very bright for this railway line.
There is some talk of an underslung DMU, which is going to be running on this section. I think Suryan Nair is building that as we speak. It's an air-conditioned train with the underslung engine, and that's the one that they're going to run. No longer.
For the Kalka Shimla railway.
Yes. I've seen a photograph, but I was specifically asked not to share it. But Suryan Nair is actually working on something like that for this. So anyway, Warren Miller has posted that there's another lost tunnel, which is a postal chute on the platform. Warren, would you like to speak?
Oh,
Yes,
not
please.
really. I mean, on the platform, you can look into a doorway and see what looks like the bottom of a mail chute going up to the street. I imagine this is no longer in use, and it probably would be quite dangerous to be standing near it when they were throwing mailbags down. But it's an interesting feature of the station.
Yes.
And if you want to see the line as it was, you should watch this movie, this song. I wanted to play this, but then I thought maybe we will not have enough time. There is this song Gaadi Bula Rahi Hai.
Yes.
That entire this is the best movie, best song ever recorded on a Indian railway line, because the railway is integral to the plot of the story. It's not incidental, where you will have the actress coming and doing a dance number on the railway line, and then you see the buildings and the structures which are very different from what exists today. There are 4 or 5 versions of the song during the entire movie Dost, but you will see a lot of old buildings and the old embankments which are no more there. But it's a lovely song to watch and see how this railway line was in the good old days.
Excellent. Vinu sir is also back. Yeah.
Because coming back to the quiz that you had, question you had given right in the beginning, you got 4 answers.
Yeah, none of them are right, sir. None of them are right. The exact number is 845.
The nearest, I think, is Nikhil. He has said 864.
Yeah. Yeah, so Nikhil, maybe you can send across your address and I'll have it sent from Amazon. So you just send your address. We will have, and this book is very interesting, because see, Satyajit Ray's annual sojourns in during summer used to be in Shimla, so he loved this section very well. And this story is completely on an incident that happens on the Kalka Mail. It's a very good mystery, one of the Feluda mysteries, who is very, very similar to Hercule Poirot. If you have read Hercule Poirot and Captain Hastings, then Feluda is very similar to Hercule Poirot in terms of the way he goes on solving the mystery. It's a very interesting book. So we will send it across. You just let us know your address. We will send it across.
Well, I'm based in Atlanta. Based in Atlanta, Georgia, here in the United States.
No problem.
So-
So you just send your address. We will have it delivered there. That's no problem.
Okay. I really appreciate it. Oh, and by the way, just excellent presentation on the Kalka Shimla Railway. I have really learned a lot from it.
Thank you.
Vikas, when is the part 2?
We could have done it today only, I realized. But then I was making I
Part
thought it
2 will
would
be
take
2 or
time.
3 months from now.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll do that. There we will talk all about the engineering marvel and UNESCO world listing and stuff.
Yes, sir.
Then thank you very much, Vikas. If there are no more questions or no more discussion, then we can close today. Vikas, thank you very much. It was a very interesting talk. Although I knew of most of the stuff that you talked about, there were still many small tidbits that I was not aware. So it is always enlightening listening to you.
Thank
To
you.
all the people who participated, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And we hope to meet you next month, not at the monthly talk, but at a conference that we are having on the 4th and 5th of March. The topic of the conference is rail museums. We'll be sending you the links and the various other things about the conference very shortly. So I hope you will join us on the 4th and 5th for an international conference where about half the speakers are overseas and half the speakers are Indian. And we will talk about rail museums, not only in India, but all over the world.
Wonderful.
Thank you very much. And
Thank you, sir.
Vinu, would you like to say anything?
No, fine. I missed the talk, but I'm glad all of you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And thank you, Vikas, for everything.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Have a great day. Bye. Yeah.
Okay. So much. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Venu sir, stop the recording. Yeah. Stop the yeah. I'll stop the record. I'll stop. I'll stop. Yeah, I'll stop the